Yeah. So what was you majored in art? That was your major?
Majored in art. I
You
majored in
majored in
music.
music. Okay. And so is that how you got into music? You said you was 20. So is that was your
I was done
transition?
music. How did I get into music? Oh Lord. Okay, I think
Mhm.
so. I had a band, right? And our band only did poetry. And I felt that we were limited and we needed to go to the next step. I've always been very business minded and kind of can spot trends, if that makes sense. I think
Okay.
I was good at spotting trends, and I felt like our trend wasn't enough. So what I do is yes, it's in Kingston. Nanya says if it was in Kingston, it's in
No,
Kingston.
she actually did go up in Kingston.
Yes, I grew up in Kingston. Yeah, as hard
Mhm.
as it gets, gunshot and everything. Um, you know what? Just gunshot, pure gunshot. But anyway, so yeah. So what we did, I kind of spot a trend and decided that you know what, maybe we needed to do more singing versus as much poetry, and so that's how we kind of transitioned into music.
Oh, okay. And so, what was your specialty in music at that time? What was your specialty? What was your instrument, or what did you do in as far as the
In
music
music.
aspect?
So I sing, which I sang. I can play the keyboard. I can play the guitar. I can play a
Oh,
bass. I can play. I just was talented. Eventually I realized that I mean, you had all this stuff. I didn't really quite know too much of how far I could have gone until maybe when I was an adult, I started realizing, you really can go very far. Like you really have like just a natural aptitude for the arts. And so I do play a lot of instruments. I could play a lot of them and taught a lot of them.
okay. So can you play? You have your guitar with you? Yeah, you
I
have
don't
your
have my
guitar near
guitar.
you.
I don't have my guitar near me because
Your
I
guitar.
didn't know what was going on. So I apologize,
Oh, you
guys.
should have seen. You should have been. You should have been prepared. Should have
I
seen.
should
You
have
should
been
have been
ready.
ready.
I should have been ready.
Yeah, but we saw some of that in the beginning. If you didn't catch the beginning of this live, you did get a glimpse of O'Neil and his
Mhm.
talent on the guitar while I'm doing one of his reviews on the Cut You Ain't Skits that we're going to talk about. So that's why I was hoping that he could get some of us, a little taste.
For
Yeah.
sure.
So did you have a band? Did you have like with the music thing? And how did you again manage the music as well as classes?
Classes on the music, I guess you just work on it. I had a band. The band is called Nomads, and that's the band that I talked
Romance.
about in the book. Yeah, Nomads is it's really a poetry. We're coming from high school, so we're all high school friends, right? And so that's how we formed pretty much a band, until eventually we get the contract with Puma, and that happened with Puma and all of that kind of stuff.
Really? You
Mhm.
got a contract with Puma?
We did,
Really?
we did.
Oh wow. So
So
you
about in the year 2011, there was like a Puma contract for with Usain Bolt, where we pretty much were like the Puma ambassadors. So we went over the
really?
so we were able to like tour the world and see a bunch of things and met with different people. Yep,
Oh Neil, you were big time. Oh wow.
we made some
Yeah.
money.
Yeah, no,
Hmm.
no, that's not something to just gloss over for real because I mean Puma contract that's big. So yeah.
It is big. We did some other
Yeah.
things with Puma, but yes, we did that with Puma. We also sued Puma. Well, threatened
Oh,
to sue
oh,
them. But
oh.
but yeah, because they came to Jamaica, and I guess we felt we weren't getting our just dues, so we kind of held them hostage a little bit, took some money from them, and that's about that.
And so did it all work out at the end?
It
Or
did work out. Like I
okay.
mentioned in the book, if y'all going in the book, like if people read the book, the I did mention that we did get a lot of money from them. We made over like $200,000. It's a lot US. So
Yeah,
we're talking
yes,
US.
right,
So in
right.
Jamaican currency, that's millions and millions of dollars. We were able to buy a bunch of different things. That's why we owned a bunch of Mercedes Benz and drove around. And people say, "Oh, it's the Benz crew."
Mm, mm.
That was the idea. But as you grow,
Right,
you
right.
realize some of that is
Mhm.
just it's
Mhm.
just nonsense.
Yeah, so let me ask you because you went to college, you getting Puma contracts, you just doing it big, big, big time. And so how did that segue into you moving to the US?
How did I move into the US? I got married.
Okay, okay.
I got married, okay, and I did not want to move to the US at all because also, the stigma that goes with that, oh yeah, hey, you only want to get married to come here. So I got married and probably lived out in the US for 2 years, in all fairness, because I did not want to get a green card at all. And I said, I don't want a green card because me go here say, oh, you come here so for a green card and blah, 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 blah. So I said, I'll travel back and forth because I already had like a visa. So I already had visas that I could move around the world with. So I was like, no, I don't want to do any of that. But as time went by, I think my daughter's mom lived here. And so she moved here and she wanted to move her here. And I was like, well, all right, should I come? No. you know, and so I guess we worked it out and I said, all right, fine, I'll stay and, you know, try to kind of do this whole America thing. So you kind of have to start back over and then you have to now go back to school again to get American schooling. And that's how that worked out.
Okay, so let me go back because I want to make sure that I cleared up. You said your daughter's mom was already, yeah, because you said daughter's mom and then you got married. So
My daughter's mom, so my daughter's mom left when she was about 5 months old. Okay.
oh,
Right. So that's why O'Neill so tricky with the Sheila and Anthony subject. Now you realize why O'Neill is this is locked in and he doesn't play when people do the other
she
things.
left with your daughter. She left with your daughter.
No. So she left to go America, but she left my daughter in Jamaica.
While I was there. Okay. Right. Okay.
And then the same thing that you see Angelina playing, that's how her mother was trying to play as well. Because I was being asked the same question like Anthony, where they're asking Anthony to buy the house, but mine was, hey, I need to pay her mom to be the nanny, and I'm like, no, I'm not paying you to be a nanny. You're a grandma.
Okay. So you're using that child as leverage. Okay, got you.
So all that way of seeing some of it is, you know what I mean? It's very identifiable.
It's triggering,
That's why O'Neill can talk about it. And that's why O'Neill is very passionate with some of the subject because it is really and truly true.
It's real, right? You know?
It's as real as it gets. That's why I love the country it gets. Because it's just not real.
So so you left to raise your daughter at that time while she went
she went to the States. Right. Okay. She went to the States and my daughter had a visa, she could travel back and forth, but she went there to be there, but she left her here in Jamaica. So I didn't kind of want to leave her. That was another thing too. I'm like, hey, I don't want to leave my daughter, there and whatever else it is. But my wife kept asking at the time, hey, but you're not moving over here and why? And I should be filing green card. And I'm like, well, I don't even want to depend on a woman on a green card right now because I have more money. Need to depend on your green card stuff, but that's what it was,
Okay, so once you so how old is your daughter now?
My daughter is now 14.
Okay, so when you decided to move, how old was your daughter when you moved to US? I'm trying to just want to make sure that
it's good. She is. Are you trying to get my age? She is.
No, I'm gonna put the pieces together.
Oh, put the pieces together.
Yeah, because you said your daughter mother's left you with her your daughter was 5 months at the time.
She was 4. Yes. She was about 4 going on 5. That's exactly when, like somewhere there.
Okay.
That I decided, no, okay, you know what? Let's just kind of move to the US and see exactly if we can, because of the pressure from the wife that's here.
Okay, so let me. I'm sorry, O'Neill. So I want to make sure I establish a timeline for myself as well as the audience. Okay, so your daughter was 5 months at the time when when her mother left to move to US.
That's correct.
And so you decided to move. Your daughter was 4 when you moved. So
about 4 or 5.
4 or 5. So when did you get married? I mean, so when did the marriage take place? And
I got married in about 2013, and I didn't move to the US until 2015. Does that make sense?
Yes.
There you go. So that should help there. So what had happened is that I've been with my daughter's mom for about, say, I had been with her for about 10 years. I was going to try and marry her, but the girl was just difficult. You see what Anthony's going through with Sheila? That's who she was. Right? So you know what I mean. She just not as bad because me would have probably chick to clap, you know what I mean, which is different than what Anthony's doing. Anthony's giving in, but I'm not giving in. So that's exactly what it was, right? So we broke it off. And so she leaves and comes to the United States and they say, hey, she's going to do her little thing here. I said, okay, fine, that's fine. But then she left the kid there. I didn't even know she left. That's another piece of the puzzle. No, she didn't tell me. So she just leave and gone, but left this kid with her grandmother, and I don't know that. And I'm like trying.
How did you find out?
Because how did I even find out? I think I kept asking for her and couldn't hear, like where she was, and I'm like, wait. And then eventually the mom told me, no, she has already gone. She's not coming back, and I'm like, so what are you doing with her? How come you have her? You know what I mean? Like she still have like a father. So how you have her? So that's how that works out.
Wow. But kudos to you for taking on that responsibility of because a lot of men are struggling with that, as you can see, not only on the skits, but just in real life, how men are even struggling with building a life with their children, or sometimes they don't even want to even have a relationship with the children. So I commend you for taking on the responsibility in that way. So when you got into, what was it like when you first got into America? When you place your foot in the pavement of the U.S. How was that like for you?
The first visit that was more for living because remember I'd come here while being a kid and during my other life I
Right,
came here for
right.
tours, so that's different. But the first time coming here, living here, it's just new. So it's like okay, you're gonna have to rely on this system to live in this particular system. But being that you're Jamaican, you're kind of hey, you don't sweat it. You just know you need to do what you need to do. Let's put it that way. You know what I mean? Like, it's that mindset again from being eight again. It's like, hey, all right, you have to provide. So you need to find out how do you provide? What do you need to do in order to provide? And so that's where that just started. They decided, hey, you need to go back to school, all of that. So that's pretty much it.
So when you moved to U.S., did you move straight to California, or Did you live
No.
somewhere else?
So I lived in Pennsylvania. So I lived in the cold. So I never liked the cold. For
Me.
those who want me to know, I had to shovel snow and I didn't like that. I'll tell you that
Yeah,
much.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
but
know. Yeah.
but what I did enjoy was throwing snowballs. So I
Oh,
splattered a couple of kids because I always wanted to do that. You know what I mean? Like as a kid, growing up, you'd watch snow on TV. And so once I came here and saw snow, I just roll up a snowball on the first white kid. Well, let me not say that. But anyway, the first kid I saw, I was like, slap, So it's a kid in me. I had to do that. But it was just, for the white people are out there, it's not just white kids. I was smacking other kids. So don't worry. It's just a snowball, man. Come on.
It's a snowball. Yeah, we used to doing snowball fighting. It's snowball
It's
fighting.
what we see. It's what I see on TV. So that's what that was. But yeah. And so I kind of just went to school, and that's when I finished up I did the next degree, which was my bachelor's in business administration, to know where I have my master's in social work.
Okay, I'm gonna get to that too. But what made you decide to go to Pennsylvania?
That's where she lived. The wife lived in Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay,
Right.
got you.
So she lived in Pennsylvania, and that's where her family's from, and she's from Pennsylvania. She lives in a small town called Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Very small, in the middle of Pennsylvania. So think as wide as can be, as mayonnaise as possible.
Mm-hmm. Not the mayonnaise on the elbow.
It's as wide as can be. So it's very white. It's but you know what? The people are cool. And then though I'll say this, I see though some of the things you're saying before in the beginning. I see though some of the treatment because I was from an island. I will say this: the white people seem to treat me different from the people who are here who are black. I think their word to use for it was we were exotic.
Okay, got it.
So that's what I think. I think that's one of those things that is thrown out there. So, but again, I was like a musician, and so people love musician, and you're a star, and you love reggae music. Hey, people, you have an accent.
It's going to be embraced. Oh yeah, that's going to be appreciated. It's going to be embraced. So, what school did you graduate from? Or what college did you graduate from with your bachelor's?
Here, you know what? I did online college at Georgia, in Georgia, which is a school, Ashworth College.
What's it called?
Ashworth College. So I did
Ashworth. Okay.
Yeah, I did a bachelor's in Ashworth College, which is funny enough in Georgia. It's interesting.
Right.
In Georgia. And then now did the master's at.
How did that happen? What made you decide to do that? It was because of the program.
You know what? I'm not going to take her credit. It's that wife at the time that did that.
Okay.
So it's my wife at the time that did that. And by the way, in case y'all know, I have a different wife, so it's two wives. So it's my wife at the time that did that. My wife at the time said, hey, why not? You love business so much, right? And I know you have the arts and all of that. Why not just do a business degree instead this time? And so she was the one that said, hey, do that particular thing. And I'm like, all right, cool. Let's go for it.
All right. So you feel like, was that the good advice on her part?
It was good advice because at the time we were having issues as the band. And I felt like the band did no business as well, which is why I kind of wrote the book I wrote now, which is the shepherd who lost his sheep. It's really based on that, like business things I've kind of picked up that you kind of need to learn certain portions or else you don't get it. And I feel like it's one of those things that just is not taught as well to the black community. Like we don't get taught business the way we should get taught business. I see it here and I see it in Jamaica as well. We're not business savvy. We have whole heap of talent, but no business.
True. And that's something that definitely needs to go hand in hand. So yeah, kudos to your ex-wife for giving you that advice because that definitely goes hand in hand because you'll be railroaded like crazy if you don't have that business mindset. So yes, I'm glad that you took that route. And so you moved to Pennsylvania, you married your daughter. You're living that big, that nice family life. You college graduate. Where did you go with that degree after?
Let's see. I started to, cause you have to start from the bottom when you come in Jamaica. That's
Yeah.
another piece of the puzzle, right? Like meaning America
Did
ain't
you?
going to just
Yeah.
put you in positions.
Did you
So I
still
think
do
I
music?
worked. I still did music. I always did music because people wanted to see you sing. Like we were the only. Okay, so I had like a couple other bandmates that were here as well too. But we're like the only person that does reggae music in that part of the place. So people, you're just like giving somebody something that no one else has. So people pay for it. You know what I mean? So that's the idea of it. So of course we were able to do the music that way. But so that was one way of feeding myself, as well as I worked with just a couple like agents like Fee. I remember working with the student loan people. So I saw student loans and got the chance to see a bunch of people student loans and what people are paying
Yeah.
and, and stuff like that.
I'm
So
sure you did. Yeah.
that was something to look at, you know what I mean? So yeah, I saw that. Worked with Fee and I worked with like an oil company. There's an oil
Oh.
company here that I worked with, which was pretty cool. I think I got the job based on my ex-wife's father's wife. So that's why I got that particular job. So yeah.
Okay. So you work in a regular job. You live in a family life. But let me. I want to get more into your family life. Because
Go ahead.
you've been married a couple of times. You got child. Do you want more children?
I want another kid. I want a boy. I have
Oh
a
yeah,
bunch
of
of
course,
girls
of
and I
course.
want a boy, just like Anthony. So see, me share sentiments of wanting a boy, but I'm not going to not do a DNA
No,
test.
no, don't do it that way. Don't do
No,
it
no,
that
no,
way.
no, no. I mean a DNA
Don't
test.
don't, don't sit with your wife's best friend, please.
No, no, no,
Don't
no,
don't, don't do
no, no, no.
that.
I'm more of I want a kid in wedlock.
Yes,
I'll
yes,
put it that
yes,
way. So that's what
yes.
my thing is. That's the
Amen.
thing
I
again.
get it.
So
Hmm.
if I can't get that, then I don't want it at all. So I'll tell
Got
you
it.
that. That's the difference with my idea.
So let me ask because I want to learn more about and I don't want to pry too much, but it'll be messy at the same time. So
That's okay.
so throughout your journey, you've been married twice already, and you have this child. You have that experience. So you have many teachable moments that I know that you can't
Hmm.
share all at once, but overall, what did you learn about you as a
What I
person
learned about me.
yeah, what about you as a person, as a boyfriend, as a husband, as a just um or and then being able to learn at an early age how to um make ends and how to pull your own weight and being able to have that principle
Coming
as you
forward.
got older. And so, and and having all the sex escapades and all that
Hmm.
stuff. So how did that how that
Let me learn
overall,
that. Okay,
teach you
well,
how to be the person, how did it make you be who you are?
I'll say this. The first thing I learned was that we're very like I was saying in the beginning when we were talking about like just the whole idea of me being 9 and being promiscuous. It was in that first marriage that I kind of started to learn how cultured I was. In other words, what the culture had been doing to me as a person. So I learned that the culture doesn't really teach faithfulness. It doesn't. You know what I mean?
No,
And
it
so that's
doesn't.
why a Jamaican man is wild, because it just don't really teach that. He's taught to be a gallus and have, which is a man who has a lot of men, and he's taught to have enough girls in bungle. In other words, he must have a lot of them. That's what is sung to him over and over again. Over time, I kind of started to realize that that's not what you kind of want at all. I also got a chance to hang around other ethnicities, more white people, and not that we never see them in Jamaica, but there wasn't as much as there is here. That's the difference. So when I started to come here and living in Pennsylvania, I saw people and families, and I saw how families were people were very big on families. Specifically, I saw how white families ruled, and I
Mm,
realized them have a certain thing where family was very, very big. Not that they didn't have issues and they didn't have problems,
of course,
but
right. I
some
get
way,
it.
somehow, they were able to keep those families together, which also gives me the reasoning that, again, a lot of what happens in our black community is an attack against the black community. And I don't want to make it
Mm,
seem like it's terrible,
yeah,
but that's really not
yeah,
true
it
what it
is.
is.
It
It is
is.
to break families apart, which is exactly what O'Neill is for families. I'm pro family, pro black family, because I've
Yeah,
seen exactly it on different scales. I see exactly what it does for those families. I see exactly how the family is able to send kids to school, how kids go college, and how people, how you have a mother in the house and a father in the house, and no one is greater than the other. They're
yeah.
just there to do different roles. So that was something that I think that kind of highlighted a lot of those things to me. So I had to learn that. while being here. I would say that much.
Okay, so that was my next question too, because how did you learn that? Because you went from one extreme to the next. You went from
How I learned that.
being promiscuous. You putting yourself out there. And yes, as you get older, as you mature, you would think that would die down. So you decided to settle down, but and so kind of in a sense, I mean, I'm glad that you took this role, but I'm disappointed at the same time, but not in the sense that the fact that you said that you use the black family unit, I mean the white family unit as a model, and not many black families have that type of. I mean, not saying they don't have that type of unit, but there's so many broken homes among the black families. It's so common to where you modeled after a white family. So it's disappointing, but it's it's powerful at the same time. I should say.
Well, hey, I mean, I look at it this way. I think that every ethnicity has something we want, and we have something every ethnicity wants. And so I'm okay with knowing that somebody else may have something that I can learn from. Like, I mean, like, for example, do I find sometimes like the American culture can be individualistic, where it's like, hey, it's me, I'm the star, I'm shining, which can be seen as, geez, you're pompous, you're cocky, or whatever it is. But at the same time, it's a good trait to also have, because you need some confidence.
Of course,
so that's what I'm saying. In other words, that I mean, it's almost like one of those things where you kind of have to work with, and that's why I keep saying that the black family is really under attack, because really and truly we have been under attack. Like, for example, I'll give you this. Even though I love my mother, and we love her down to the earth, we love her a lot. For years, my mother didn't make it seem as though my father was a dad.
Oh, really?
Yes, because she'd say, no good. He's not good at all. He's no good father. He's not do this. He doesn't do that. He doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. He's not a good man. But he's done these things. And that's why I would argue for like a lot of things in the skits. When you see me arguing those things, it's because I've experienced those things. Where no matter that saying, no, do not.
But I'm glad you found out the truth as you got older.
Exactly. So you would have to. So as you grow older, now you start realizing. But it takes a while for guys to realize this. Sometimes it takes a while for them to see these things. I mean, like they would have to go somewhere else to see it or so. I mean, like they'll just give them that. It's tough that I had to come to like a PA, but maybe a part of it was because I was so, I would say, disattached from Jamaica, that I had to observe other things. In other words, you're not just in like a routine. You're not just in like a cycle, a spinning cycle going around. So being in Pennsylvania, my eyes were like, okay, you're more alert because it's the unknown. So now looking at the unknown, what do you see? That's the question, because that's what my mentors always told me to do. When you get into a particular space, what are you seeing? What are you looking at? That's the question.
Yes, that's true, right. You're gonna go off what you see. You gotta live by example. Yes, so I get it. I get where you're coming from. So you say you work these jobs, you living your best life at this point. So what made you move to California?
What made me move to California? What a good question. There you go. So that's where my second wife comes in. My second wife is from California, right? And I don't regret moving to California. She's from here.
Yeah, give me the backstory. How did you and your wife meet? How did y'all meet? Give me a love story. Give me your story.
So our love story is that we lived on this complex in Louisiana. Okay.
Louisiana.
Right. She has a kid. I have a kid. These kids decided to go to the pool at the same time. And that's how we meet. That's it.
For the children.
That's literally it. You know what I mean? I met her while she was finishing up her doctorate, because she has a doctorate. So I met her while she was finishing up her doctorate, and I started asking her questions, you know what I mean? And she'd tell me about her doctorate and things like that. And then I asked her where would she live, because I was like, I'm big on, I was gonna move out to Louisiana and move to say like a North Carolina. And she said, you know what? I'm from Cali. I probably would go back to California or Nevada. And I'm like, well, I've never really been there. I know it's expensive. Well, I've been there, but I've never lived there. And I'm like, I don't know if I live there because I don't know anybody there. But then that's so, we came here. So that's what it is.
Okay. And so do you regret your decision to move to California? Are you happy?
No, I love California. California, the weather is good. Yeah, the weather is good. The weather is very good.
Right.
The weather is good. The weather is close to, you get a lot of Jamaican sunshine. I mean, sunshine, I feel like Jamaica. And you have some of the coldness, but there's no snow. So that's good as well, too. And I have gotten a chance to be more around a another set of black people. There you go again. So I love that. So her family is she now has like a lot of black family things, and I get a chance to learn from her family dynamic and things like those, and I get a chance to see other type of black people and stuff. So that's pretty cool. Not that I haven't seen many, but I interact more. You know what I mean? Like here I'm able to interact more. So yeah.
But I'm just glad that you was exposed to so much diversity, Oneil, throughout your lifetime. Between the move between your family life and your professional life, you seem like you're, very well versed in different cultures, different experiences, and different groups of people. So I'm glad you was able to experience that. So, now you moved to California, and that's where you got your master's, correct?
That's where I got my master's.
Yeah,
got my master's in California. Got my master's from California Baptist University. And funny enough, again, it's that wife that said, "Hey, why not do your master's in a social work? Because whatever it is." And I say, "All right, fine, let's go." So,
you just go with the flow, huh? So why social work?
Social work because I felt like I liked housing. So I did a lot of housing when I was in Pennsylvania as well, and I did some housing so I was a realtor in Pennsylvania. I had a Pennsylvania license, had a license in Louisiana as well. So I did a lot of real estate for a long time, and then I realized that I could mix social work with real estate in the form of housing, like necessary housing.
Yeah, that's interesting. How so?
Well, people need house. I mean, people are
but how
homeless.
did it? Oh, okay, got it. That's what I wanted to hear.
That's what I mean. Yeah. People are homeless. So being in New Orleans, I remember like doing some property management for an investor of mine, and I would see a lot of people who would come by and they'd have these Section 8 vouchers, and them just needed a place, and I couldn't provide it for them at the time. And I remember it was just kind of crushing, to kind of see that, because they would discriminate against them because they're like, hey, they're about to destroy the house and no Section 8, and you know what I mean. So
yeah, that's true. So, Section 8 recipients get a bad rep. They do. So how was that? Okay, so how did that come into you? Becoming an author. How did that come about?
Well, I had many stories to tell.
So
my life is long. I just have one of those long lives. If you see, there it goes. So that's one of the first books I wrote, and I feel like I kind of needed to write like a book. I just had a very long life. I mean, I'm giving you a synopsis of it right now with y'all. I mean, I'm really just giving like a brief, because we can't have to condense it in 1 hour in the time we are here. I mean,
but give just
so that's
just like just the cliff notes, What about me? Your 30-day mental health awareness journal.
Yeah. So after my first marriage and the time I'd spent, in solitude to find a lot of things out and to discover, why things didn't work the way it worked and what I could have done better, because you have to spend time to do those things. That's why I'm a big proponent of Amber spending time alone. If you get exactly why I give her all of that. And why I think she needs to people not being in her ear. So again, I love her, but people don't understand that that's the love I have for her, because I've seen a lot of me in Amber. So when they see me get upset, it's just the Amber that's in me that I'm responding to. That's all. That's
and I get it too, because I'm like, I'll be on the other side of the screen, like, wanting to like kind of put Amber into a chokehold, like, girl.
Just lock her up,
like really. I mean, look, I understand you, because and the thing is, she uses her relationship with God as a crutch, but we'll get more into that. But so the shepherd who lost his sheep.
The shepherd who lost his sheep the shepherd who lost his sheep comes from I think I needed to talk about business. So this is kind of part of the nomad story, but it's like a very brief part of the nomad story. I felt I need to tell something about the story, which is how people tend to lose people who really care and are loyal to them. It's almost like how pretty much Anthony loses Amber. Amber is following behind him with all of these things, and he just doesn't see it that he has this woman's attention. So Anthony could actually be the shepherd losing his sheep as well. We've lost a lot of sheep in our lifetime because we just have not paid attention that these were good people for us. Whether it's a partner, whether it's a lover, whether it's a friend, whether it's that you're in a group or whether you're in a business, that's exactly what that is. And so, sometimes you get selfish. Sometimes you start feeling yourself too much and you forget that the people are the ones that help you and help to put you there. I mean, America is in that right now, as we can see. You know what I mean? You see that people have been following underneath the current administration and following behind, but hey, the people are just, they don't know what to look for anymore. You know what I mean? What are the hopes they're looking for? So that's what it is.